Good afternoon, dear students. Today we are going to see about global routing. So, what is the main purpose of global routing? Is it will just provide multiple. We already learned about the layers, right? There will be various layers while we are doing the train. So, in this global routing, it will allow just multiple layers for the interconnection purpose. Okay, it will just allow multiple layers for the interconnection purpose. Okay, so in this we will just in the global routing, what we are doing is just we are defining the routing region, then we are just generating a tentative route for each net. What about net? What is net? From each cell there will be terminals to make the connection, that is called a net. Okay, just generate a tentative route for each net, and each net is assigned to a set of routing regions, and does not specify the actual layout of the wire, it just route the thing. Okay, that is the thing that happened in this global routing. Okay, so there will be various regions for the routing, that is here in this between the blocks. If the blocks are arranged, if the two blocks are placed nearby, in between that there is a channel available, right? That channel is called vertical channel. Okay, so if the blocks are placed on the top of one, on the top of the another one, and in between that two blocks there is a space available, or there is a channel available, and that channel is called horizontal channel. Okay, similarly, if there is if in between block, if there is a horizontal as well as vertical channel available, it will connect using a switch box. Okay, that is, it will just contain the pins on all the four sides. Okay, so these are the types of regions that are available for the global routing purpose. In this, um, it is a design action that precedes local routing and follow the placement problem. Okay, it just decides the distribution across the available routing channel of the interconnections as specified by the netlist. Okay, it just decide through which way the interconnections will have to do, and all will be discussed in this global routing. Okay, next, standard cell layout. In the standard cell layout, we know the location. First we are doing the placement, right? After the placement only we can able to route anything. Partitioning, placement, routing, everything is there. After the placement only we can able to route all the everything. Okay, at the end of the placement problem, we know the location of the each of the cell is fixed. Okay, location of each cell in a row is fixed. Okay, so here in this figure, okay, here in this row a group of cells are arranged in ash box. Okay, in the first line, 19.15a, the first box contain many number of cells. Okay, there will be 4 rows in that, so the location of each cell in a row is fixed. Okay, so fixed. The capacity and location of each feed through cell is also fixed. We know there are many types of cells are there. Normally cells are used. Here there is one type of cells called feed through cell. Okay, what is the purpose of main feed through cell? It is mainly used to connect the 2 points, that is, in this just in the 9.15a, there is a connection in the second row, ash row. There is a cross cutting, black cross cutting, right? Black connection is going through there, and this black connection is cutting the ash box or this ash cell through a feed through cell. Okay, that is, feed through cell is nothing but we can able to make the connection through that cell, that is the feed through cell. Okay, So if there is no feed through cell, the connection is not possible. Okay, and we have to go for another feed for cell if there is excess, just to make the connection. Okay, so here only the horizontal channel will exit it, that is the channel heights are not fixed. Okay, if what about if there is no feed through cell, there will be no connections between the rows, right? So it is it will be a failure, that is insufficient feed throughs will leads to a failure. Okay, so that is discussed here. So here it will just obtain a wiring pattern roughly which interconnects all the terminals of the nets, amount to constructing a minimum rectilinear Steiner tree. Okay, so here in this here this 19.15a figure just shows the 5 terminals. Okay, 5 terminal net is shown in this figure. We know there will be 5 black dots will be there, that is the 5 terminal net is shown in this 9.15a. Here the terminals are positioned at the center of the channels. The rectilinear Steiner tree contains vertical segment that crosses the row of the standard cell. Okay, this consists of vertical segments will be there in this tree, and that is the tree is the black marked portion, that is the tree. Okay, here in that what the vertical segments will be there that cross the rows of the standard cell. So this can be realized by simply using the wiring layer that is not used by the standard cell. Okay, it can just be by simply using a wiring layer or by making use of the feed through cell. Okay, then what is feed through cell? These are the cells not that are inserted between the functional cell in a row of the standard cell with the purpose of realizing the vertical connection, that is just to make the vertical connection. Okay, also we can able to use the feed through wires that may be available uh, within the standard cell. Okay, so these are all called as feed through wires. Okay, so just have to understand this concept, what is feed through wires. Okay, this so here in the last section we already discussed about channel routing as well as area routing. So right, the channel routing will also be used to fix the exact wiring pattern in the channel. Okay, so in the global routing also some kind of that is also used in that this global routing. Okay. So if the feed through resources, we know what about the feed through resources, it is nothing but just the connection, feed through wire just providing the connection between the terminals in between two rows, right? If the feed through resources are scarce, their use can be minimized by building a Steiner tree for which vertical connections having a higher cost than the horizontal ones. Okay, so if there is a no in the figure above, here in the first figure we know how many feed through cells are there. There will be 3 feed through cells are there. Okay, so if the resources is not available means, then we have to go for the second one. Be in second one, in between the third row and fourth row, the connection is made. Okay, connection is made between two blocks. Okay, that is if the third feed through cell, okay, is not available means we have to go for this one, which is very costly. Okay, next we're just going through about the building blocks layout and channel ordering. Okay, global routing for So here this is the next one, building block layout. In the last one we just learned about standard cell layout. This is the building block layout. Okay, global routing for building block layout is somewhat more complex than for the standard cell layout. Okay, it is more complex comparing to that. That is here, this is the building block layout. Okay, building block layout is shown in this figure. The area here in this, the area for the routing is reserved around the cell, but it is not always obvious how this area can be partitioned into channels that can be handled by channel routers, and in which order these channel can be routes. Okay, so this is the first figure shows the building blocks, and the second figure shows the corresponding slicing tree that we already studied about how to draw a slicing tree, right? We have to go for the smaller cells, then it will be connected in the horizontal manner with M2 in the vertical. That is like that you will draw the slicing tree. So in this, the area for the routing, so around the cell there will be some areas, right? These areas are reserved for the routing purpose. Okay, so but in this case, how the areas how this can be routed, how this area can be partitioned into channel, that is it can be handled by channel routing. Okay, how this area, we know, suppose if we are taking ALU, means there surrounding the ALU there will be some areas. What about the purpose of that area? That is mainly used for routing purpose, right? So the this area can be partitioned, first this area can be partitioned into channels, and the routing in that is done by using channel routing. Okay, so um, so here in this, it is mainly based on the depth first search function. Okay, this is how, that is, first in this it will use the area is partitioned into various channel, and then channel routing takes place. After that the global routing will takes place. Okay, then algorithms for global routing. um, so here in this, in the first section, we are just discussing about the approach based on the standard cell layout. Okay, based on the standard cell layout, we are first discussing about this. So in the first one, so here the main thing in this algorithms for global routing, first we are just defining about a problem definition. So here in this, first the layout is covered by a grid. Okay, here in the first figure the dotted portion shows the grid, right? The horizontal grid lines are chosen such that they run across the center of the cell row. The horizontal lines will goes across the center. Okay, horizontal in the first row. If you consider the first row, there will be some dotted lines through the center of the cells, right? So the horizontal grid lines are chosen such that they run across the center of the cell row, and the vertical grid lines can be chosen such that the horizontal and vertical resolutions are roughly equal. First they will select the cut the cells into two for horizontal grid lines, then for the vertical constraint they will make the equal portion. Okay, just they will roughly equal, they will just select the lines which is roughly equal. Suppose if the exact distance between the horizontal line is not known in advance, and it just depends on the result of the channel routing. So it mainly depends on the channel routing. So in this global routing, channel routing plays a very important role. Okay, so this is discussed in this first figure, how the how the cells are partitioned into, how the cells can be grouped inside a grid lines. So this grid divides the routing area into elementary rectangles, smaller rectangles, and the abstraction affected by the use of grid implies that all the terminals located in such a rectangle will be thought of as having the same coordinates. Okay, the points to be in, so here the second figure, in this B figure, it will just show the points to be interconnected by the rectilinear terrain tree. Okay, so here the points are lies at the center of this units of rectangle. Okay, in between the center, the black dots will be there, right? The line, there will be a black lines are also there. There will be some black dots are line. These are the points. These are the center points. Okay, which is lies at the center of the rectangle. This is the this is done, this all things will be done by using the local routing. Here two terms are there, local vertical density as well as the horizontal vertical density. Okay, this local vertical density is nothing but it is defined as the number of wires crossing the vertical grid segments located on a vertical grid line. Okay, and the local horizontal density is defined as the number of wires crossing the horizontal grid lines I between the vertical grid lines j minus 1 and j. Okay, that is here in this the density dv is given by dv of I is equal to maximum of j is equal to 1 to n minus 1 dv of I comma j. So the total, there will be horizontal as well as vertical densities, right? So the total channel density we can represent it as sigma I is equal to 1 to m dv, that is the vertical density. So we just to find the total density we have to sum this. Okay, then moving on to the next section, that is the effective rectilinear terrain tree. Okay, in this effective rectilinear terrain tree, so consider this figure, just go on, look onto this figure. The input of this terrain tree problem is a set of n points. Here in this, looking onto the first figure, p1 p2 p3 are the points. Okay, this is just an example. So if we consider more points will be there, we can say p is equal to set of p1 p2 etc up to pn, and pi is the rectilinear distance between a pair of points. Pi is equal to p1, that is xi comma yi, and pj is equal to xj comma yj, that is if we consider 2 points, the distance between the 2 points, if we consider p1 and p2, means the distance between that is equal to modulus of xi minus xj plus yi minus yj. Okay, the main goal of the problem is to find the minimum length tree that interconnects all the points in P and make use of the new points in the plane not to include in P. Okay, so the set of new points we are just how we have to make this short, okay, with the minimal distance. Okay, this is the largest distance, how we are going to make it short. Okay, that we are going to discuss. Okay, so there will be some points, set of new points, which we will denote at s. Okay, so the situation in the first figure, it shows the spanning tree for the 3 points p1 p2 and p3. Okay, in the second section, in the figure b, we know there is a connection from p1 to p2, right? So we are just flipping this horizontally and vertically, and we get the L portion. Okay, from p2 to p1 through s point, there is a interconnection in the p2 p3 connection. So we just mark as an into mark and put it as s1. Okay, also from s1 to p3 there is a connection, that also we are going to flip it and make a connection through the p1 wire. So in the last figure it is represented as s2, just flipping that ps1 to p3 point, and we are just getting in another point s2. Okay, that is the second Steiner point. Okay, so when we consider the new thing, the new situation, first, if in the B figure, S1 is the Steiner point, the second last one, this will become not longer a Steiner point. It will make a direct connection from, okay, a connection, and replace the last S2 is the new Steiner point. Okay, this is the thing you are just defining using the efficient rectilinear Steiner tree construction. Okay, so one more topic is there in this unit, that we can see in the next class. Okay, thank you dear students.